Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I am filming a long-awaited finance video. I have gotten so many requests to do more finance videos, budgeting videos, and I feel like this was a key pillar of my content a few years ago. And I don't know why, it just kind of fell to the wayside. I didn't really film many finance videos, but I want to get back into it because my channel is a place where you can come to feel productive, maybe learn something new, but not in like a educational way, more of a I'm your friend and we're talking about what we're doing for our finances type of way. I don't know if that makes sense. I have been making money since I was 16 years old. I've always had a job. I've always been making money. I am now 29. I've been working for myself for 6 years, and I just feel like it's time for me to sit down and share one roundup of my best financial tips for your 20s. I was able to buy a house when I was 24. I flipped it, renovated it, sold it. I made an entire series on this channel a few years ago where you can go back and look, and I even broke down like how much profit I made and how much the renovation cost and how much the house cost and everything like that. So you guys can look that up if you want to see that. I have really tried to save and maximize my finances. And I feel like when you're in your 20s, it's really easy to spend. Now more than ever with social media, it's been really hard for me to save money as well. I wanted to sit down and just talk to you as a friend about financial tips that have helped me in my 20s. And before I get into the video, I did want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. If you don't know what Squarespace is, they are the #1 website builder, and a lot of people that watch my content are entrepreneurs, business owners, creators, and if that sounds like you 100% need a website. On Squarespace, you can buy your domain, you can customize your website. They have the prettiest templates to choose from. I have personally tried a bunch of different website builders because, like I said, I have been working for a very long time, and a lot of those things have required me to create a website, and I've tried them all. Squarespace is the one I've stuck to for years. I think I've been using Squarespace for like 7 years now, and it is because it is tried and true, and it is truly the most customizable and the most beautiful website builder out there. They're also constantly innovating. Like, they have design intelligence where you can use AI to build your website, and they have a lot of ways that you can actually market your business or yourself through email campaigns, marketing analytics, and you can kind of do everything on Squarespace. If you are someone that wants to start a website or you're looking to purchase a domain, head on over to squarespace.com/NatalieBarbu or just use code NatalieBarbu in the promo code and you'll get 10% off your first purchase. So thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring today's video. Now we can get started. And obviously, like anything, these tips might not be one size fits all, but I feel like these tips can at least help anyone listening to it if you make it into your own. And no, I am not a financial expert. This is not like financial advice that you need to follow. This is, like I said, a conversation of what has helped me in my 20s, and everyone's situation is different. All of the regular disclaimers that you hear before finance videos. So the first one that I regret not doing sooner is opening up a high yield savings account. I am not someone that recommends to put all your money into a savings account. We will talk about that later. But I think if you are someone like me, growing up, I did not know what investing was. I had no idea how to grow my money. I did put everything in my savings account. For the longest time, I was just putting my money in my Wells Fargo savings account. The savings account I was putting my money in was giving me 0.01% interest. That's essentially nothing. I'd get like $10 every now and then. Like, it was nothing. And then way too late, I learned about a high yield savings account, and I personally use SoFi for that. So I will have it linked down below if you guys want to open up your own high yield savings account with SoFi. I've been using them for years and I could not say better things. I use them also for my investment portfolio as well. But anyways, back to the high yield savings account. With SoFi, I think I get like 4.5% back in interest. So if you are someone that even has like a tiny bit of savings, like, I highly recommend opening up a high yield savings account because you will get more for your money than you will get in just a normal bank account that you open up that does not have, you know, high interest, which typically it's like 0.01 or something like that. So I recommend SoFi. All that means is that your money is growing as it's staying in your savings account. So if you have $100 in your savings account and SoFi gives you 4.5%, you're going to be getting $4.50 every single month that you have that $100 in, but it's obviously going to continue to grow because when you have $100 and then you get the 4.5 in there, now you have $104, and then it's 4.5% of that. So it does compound. I definitely recommend it. I think it is one of the easiest ways to just grow your income very slowly. And again, like I said, it is not something I recommend having all of your money in, but I recommend having your savings in a high yield savings account, because if not, you are just leaving money on the table, and I do think any little bit counts. Another tip that I have is to start contributing to your retirement early. This might sound like such a basic advice, but you guys, I did not know what a retirement account was until I started my job when I was about 22 years old. And even though I think 22 is a pretty good age to start, I do wish I started it when I started making money, which was at like 16 years old. Like, I do think that the second that you start earning an income, you should at least start contributing a little bit to retirement. But especially as someone who was working for myself from a very young age, I started making money on social media at like 17, 18 years old. I wish that I at least put that like self-employment money into an SEP IRA, which is like a self-employment retirement fund, because then I would have been saving money on taxes, but also growing my retirement account. I looked recently at my retirement account this week just to see how much it's grown, and I was actually blown away. The rate of return was 9% on it, which is pretty good for a retirement account, and I am so young. And of course, it's compounding. So I've grown that retirement account 9%, but as it continues to grow, it continues to grow. I definitely wish that I had started earlier, even with just a little bit. And I am very grateful that every single year I contribute the max I can contribute to my retirement fund, because when I'm older, I'm hoping that I can, live off of that money for a little while. And in the current moment, it is actually contributing to my tax saving. I definitely recommend opening up a retirement account. I personally use Betterment for my retirement account. So if you guys want to check that out, again, everything will be linked down below. Another thing I wish I did that I am starting to do now, and I've been starting to do the past few years, is learning how to invest early. I did not come from parents who invested in the stock market. My parents do not invest in the stock market. They never have, and it's something that I just didn't grow up with. And so I was very lost with investing in the stock market and what it meant, and we didn't grow up talking about that at home. And so for me, I felt like I had to learn everything on my own when it came to investing in stocks. And the way that you can do that is, one, talking to your friends about it that know more than you, and then also looking up YouTube videos, reading books about it. They make so many podcasts about it in very digestible ways where it doesn't have to be scary. But honestly, the biggest thing that's helped me is that my friends who know more than me about the stock market, my boyfriend who knows a lot more than me about the stock market, I will talk to them about it and ask them questions, and then I will go into ChatGPT and ask it questions about investing, or I'll listen to podcasts. Just doing little things to actually learn yourself instead of just being like, oh, I don't know anything about it, so I'm not going to contribute to it. I feel like you're missing out on a lot of growth and ways to make your money grow. So don't be like me, where for years in my 20s, probably for the first 5 years of my 20s, I didn't really invest in the stock market. I didn't understand what it was, so I kind of removed myself from it and thought my money was better in my Wells Fargo 0.01% savings account, which is such a regret of mine. I wish that I would have taken the time to learn. So definitely take the time to learn and educate yourself. And there's a lot of resources that actually make it fun to do it. So that way that you can actually see okay, what is all of this investment talk? I swear they make it more complicated so that people don't understand it. And how can I start contributing to it and growing my money? Once you do that, I would start to invest and set up recurring payments. So I currently have monthly payments from my savings account that go into my investment account. And so every single month, I am automatically investing more and more money. I don't want to invest a whole big lump sum at once, because I do think that it's better to kind of incrementally space it out. But every month, I am setting up a deposit that goes from my bank account to my investment portfolio and investing that money. So now most of my money is actually sitting in investments versus my savings account. And I like it that way, because that way my money is growing and it's not just sitting there growing 4.5%. It has the potential to grow a lot more, especially over time. I definitely recommend setting it up, even if it's $10 a month, $20 a month, as you learn. I think you have to have skin in the game to also learn about it. If you're just reading about it and listening to it, but you don't actually see your money going up or down, you're not really going to understand what's going on. And so I would set up recurring deposits, even if it is $10, $20, and put it into your investment. And what I use for that is SoFi. So I have my savings account in SoFi, and I have my investment portfolios in SoFi, and I just redirect it. And for me personally, I have one robo-advisor, because that did help me when I was not really knowing much about investing. I set up a robo-advisor on SoFi, and then I have one where I put my own money in and choose the stocks that I'm investing in myself. and it's just helping me learn. And because like I said, this video is like us talking as friends. By having skin in the game, it's really been helping me understand what investing is and helping me make smarter and wiser decisions. And a lot of people don't recommend robo-advisors, but personally, I have found it really helpful because, again, I didn't really trust myself in investing at first, and so having someone or something do it for me and being able to like see the fluctuations was really helpful for me to understand. And now as I'm learning more, I'm moving more of it from my like robo-advisor to me deciding where I'm investing my money, and it's helped a lot. And if you're someone that is new and you're like, what the heck do I invest in? Do I just pick a random stock to invest in? I would recommend, if you are on the safer side, to invest in ETF. What this is pretty much a group of stocks. So instead of just investing in Apple, you might invest in an ETF that has Apple, Microsoft, Google, etc., a bunch of different tech companies. And that way it's more diversified. So if a stock, which is really volatile, goes up and down really quickly, you're not going to be as impacted because you might have a group of 100 stocks in this ETF. And so it's safer. With that being said, safer usually means less reward, high risk, high reward, low risk, low reward, but I don't think everything needs to be incredibly risky. So personally, I invest in a lot of ETFs, and it's a really good way to see my money grow, even if it is slowly. However, I do want to take a little bit of risk. I'm 29. I think it's perfect time to take risks. So I set aside money that I will be taking risks with. So I'm not really setting aside my entire savings account to take risks with. That's why I invest in ETFs and safer things. However, when it comes to learning how to invest, I also want to be able to have a little bit of fun with it and figure out what I want to invest in, even if it is a little riskier. I'll invest in things that are considered riskier or more aggressive, I should say, because I am young and I have time to see the reward from it. If you are needing to use that money in the next year or so, don't invest in things that are risky. But if you are looking to grow your money and have it grow over a long period of time, you actually have time to invest in more aggressive things, because over time it should go up. However, if you're just looking at the short term, it's going to be more volatile. So I set aside some like money for risk and for aggression, and I'm able to, actually learn the stock market by putting some skin in the game and choosing what I want to invest in and picking things that I just think are going to do well and seeing how it goes. And of course, this is money that you are willing to lose. So when you are investing in things that are slightly more aggressive, I would say, start small, learn it for yourself, and then add more as you feel comfortable. But again, I'm not like day trading or anything like that. That's too risky for me. I do have like a little basket of like fun money where I can invest in random things and just see how they do. And it's helped me learn a lot. So it's an educational experience. I also have like stop limits. I think they're called stop limits, where if the stock goes below a certain number, just pull my money out. So that way I don't absolutely lose everything. There's like a certain threshold that I'm willing to go down and lose. Another thing that I cannot stress enough, and you guys know this, is understand your income, budget, and work backwards. So there are so many people out there that I just feel like don't know how much money is coming in or how much money is going out, and they're constantly surprised every single month. And if I'm not budgeting, that is me. So make sure that you have a budget. I just do my budget on Rocket Money. It's like the best app for budgeting. I used to do it on a spreadsheet that I made, but it was too time consuming. So Rocket Money is a really great way for me to visualize it and like see every single transaction while having it do all of the like actual budgeting work on the back end for me and not me manually typing in every transaction. So that's what I prefer now. But it's such a great way to see how much money you're spending and where you need to cut back, because I think a lot of times I'll just be like on my phone and like hitting the buy now button on Amazon, or going out to eat with friends, and I'm not realizing how much it all adds up until I actually see it on paper, and then I'm like, oh wait, I don't make enough money to like live this lifestyle that I like think that I'm living. So I need to reel it back. And if you are someone that doesn't budget, you're not gonna know where your money is going, and you're just gonna be like, I don't understand, where is it going? And then you're not gonna know where to make the changes. I had a problem where I was spending so much money on restaurants and going out to eat. It was like such a problem. And I really had a conversation with myself that was like, Natalie, you cannot be spending $1,000 on restaurants a month. Like, this is actually insane. You're gonna go broke. So I reeled it back. I learned how to cook, and now I really don't spend that much money on restaurants anymore. It's May 19th, and I just did my budget yesterday, just kind of putting things into categories, and I think I've spent like $150 on restaurants this month so far. So, you know, I've come a long way, you guys. But seriously, make a budget. Use an app, whatever it is, you need to understand where your money is going and like how much is coming in. And with that being said, avoid lifestyle creep. All of these tips are me talking to myself or having a conversation with myself at some point that had to do with these things that I'm telling you about. There was one point where I was just like spending money left and right because I had a good year, I was making a lot. And when things slow down, especially if you're self-employed, things are kind of a roller coaster. You kind of have to step back and be like, okay, I don't need to live this lifestyle. Like, I need to take a step back. Recently, I canceled a lot of memberships that I wasn't really getting the most out of. I stopped going to eat as much. I've been making every single coffee at home. So, you know, there are things that I'm like, okay, I don't need to live as if I'm making like millions and millions of dollars every single year. I need to live below my means so that I can actually, you know, have more savings, invest more money, yada, yada, yada. So I had to really like reel back my lifestyle a little bit. I didn't go shopping as much, etc. I know that that's not fun, and I know that it's really easy to like look at social media and be like, well, I need this latest trend, or I need what everyone else is having. But you don't. Those people that you are watching shouldn't be doing that either. It's a lot harder to kind of scale back your lifestyle than to ramp it up slowly. And I'm not saying that, you know, if you are making a lot more money, like of course indulge yourself, or you can maybe spend more money on rent or whatever it is, because you are making that much. And I'm not someone that thinks like if you're making money, you have to like hold on to every single dollar and like never spend it and never live your life. That is not what I'm saying. But just be careful, because I think it's really easy to like have a couple good months and then completely shift your lifestyle, and it's going to be a lot harder to reel it back. And of course, it's just be intentional when you are spending your money. So it goes hand in hand with what I was saying. If you do have your budget, you're gonna know where you're spending your money, and you want to be intentional with it. So when you are hitting buy now, which is just a one-click thing on Amazon, maybe ask yourself, do I really need this? If your friends ask you to, you know, go out to dinner for the 3rd time this week, maybe suggest, hey, do you guys want to just like go to someone's apartment and cook instead? I've done that multiple times, and trust me, it helps, and it is so useful. Just know where you're spending your money and be very intentional with like every single dollar that you spend. And kind of along those same lines is to know your priorities. Like I said, I do not grip onto every dollar and be like, oh my God, I can't spend anything, because I want to live my life. You know, YOLO. I do want to live my life, and I don't want to be someone that's like, I'm going to save all my money now so that way when I'm 70 years old, I can spend it all, because I am young, I'm healthy, I don't even know if I'll make it till 70, I have free time now, I have friends, I'm in a relationship. I don't want to wait to live my life. So for me, what's important is traveling. Like, traveling is my #1 priority. It is where I spend the most money. And it's not something I necessarily regret. Like, of course, I'm always going to try to get like a good deal here and there, but like I will spend my money on traveling, and I'm not going to like go and stay at the nicest hotels and upgrade to business class, but I'm going to get myself to where I want to go. That is something that is a priority for me. So that's why when I'm spending money on food or workout classes or subscriptions, I second guess them and I think about them, because I'm like, this is gonna eat into like my travel priority. When I'm traveling, I eat out a lot. I buy coffee out. So that's why when I'm home, I don't do those things as much, because I know that that will come when I am traveling, which is my main priority. I would pick your priorities. For some people, that's health and wellness, and you are going to spend money on a gym, on workout classes, on supplements, etc. That's fine. No one should shame you or guilt you for doing that, but you're just going to need to know that's your priority. So then when it comes to maybe shopping for clothes, because maybe you have a trip that you're going on, you don't need to go on a shopping spree for that trip that you have, because your priority is health and wellness, not fashion. If your priority is fashion, that's okay. Like, go on the shopping spree, but then don't go out to eat that much. Don't go and get drinks. Don't spend money in X, Y, and Z. So it's all about priorities and picking yours. And unfortunately, unless you are like incredibly wealthy, not everything can be a priority. So you have to pick and choose. And then the last tip that I have is to use your credit cards as debit cards, or just use them wisely. What I mean by that is I use my credit card as if it is a debit card. If I do not have the money in my bank account, I am not putting it on my credit card. So I am not going to spend more than I have or more than I'm making. Credit card debt is a real thing, and millions and millions of people have credit card debt. And credit card debt is one of the worst things you can get into, because the interest is so high. So it's so hard for you to pay it back. And credit cards make it really easy to not pay it back, because you might have a $10,000 credit card payment, but a $100 minimum payment. And so you think, oh, let me just keep paying the minimum. you guys, you'll get yourself in a hole that way. Only spend what you have, but I use my credit cards for everything because I want to get points. And if you are someone who's fiscally responsible and you do not have a credit card, I think you are missing out on so much opportunity for travel, for food, for cash back, so many things. The credit cards that I have are Citi American Airlines AAdvantage credit card because I fly with American every single flight I go on, and so it gives me free flights with points. The Chase Sapphire card, which is amazing for travel as well. It gives you credit, it gives you points for flights, it gives you points for hotels, and also the American Express Platinum card, which is nice because I have lounge access at the airport. I also have points for flights and hotel, and there's just a lot of perks with American Express. And so I have those credit cards because, again, it fits into my priority, which is travel. And it is so nice because I never use my debit card. I don't even know where my debit card is. Every single time I use my credit card, I pay it off in full. I get those points. I get to use those advantages and like those privileges that I have with my credit card. And I am using it as a debit card. So they're not making money on me. I'm not paying them interest because I pay it off in full every single month. But also, like, if you're constantly spending money, you're constantly in debt, you're constantly reaching like the max threshold for your credit card, your credit score will go down. So credit cards, you need to be careful with them, and that's why I say use them wisely. Use them as if they were a debit card, but use them because you get points. Like, I literally only use my credit cards. I do not remember the last time I used a debit card. I'm spending the summer in London, and I paid for my rent, which was a lot of money, on my credit card because you will not, I want those points. And if you want to apply for any of my credit cards, you will get a ton of points. Each one is different, so I'm going to have them linked down below. But apply using my link so that you can take advantage of those points that you get. And I'll have the details down below in the description, but definitely use that so you can get points. But thank you guys so much for this video. I've missed filming these finance videos. I definitely think I'm going to film a budgeting video at the end of this month because this month was also a pretty good month for me. So I will be doing that when I go to London this summer. I think it'd be good to film kind of a video of comparing London to America, and when it comes to spending, of course, it's a little different because it's not like I'm earning a UK salary or anything like that, but I would love to just show you kind of how like expensive or inexpensive things are there compared to here. And I'm just so excited to go there and like film more videos, but I want to film more finance videos. So if you guys do like this, make sure to give a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment down below to let me know. And if I missed anything, let me know your best finance tip or a tip that you would give to someone in their 20s in the comment. Bye guys.